Hey there my fellow Indians, welcome to NewsHamster. So in this video, we shall discuss about lesbian, gay, transgender, bigender, transsexual, bisexual, polysexual, asexual, non-binary, androphilia, so on and so forth. The Pride month has come to an end, you see. Well, if we have to cover all those aspects that I mentioned, we have to start a new series. But then I use those terms particularly just so you know that all these aspects do exist. Well, we don't consider a lot of things as a part of Indian culture. For example, Mughal monuments, for example, jeans, trousers, and of course, Chinese food. But then there is one more thing that we don't consider a part of our culture, integrally a part of our culture, and that is homosexuality.
Why are you gay?
Well, I will not give you GAN now about why we have to consider these people as our own and why they need love and all, but then I'll just give you some facts and of course some jokes. Ladies and gentlemen, a few days ago, Section 377 of the Indian Penal Code, or a key aspect of it, was abolished. Or you can say it was declared unconstitutional, just like triple talaq. But what does this Section 377 say? It says that if you indulge yourself in any kind of sexual activity which is against the order of nature, you can be imprisoned for a span of 10 years. Okay, wait. What does order against the order of nature mean? मेरे को क्या पता? मेरे को action मिलता भी नहीं है. It does sound archaic and regressive, but what you need to know here, it also applies to the heterosexuals as well. मतलब आप और मैं heterosexuals, right? So this law says that if you indulge in any kind of sexual activity which is against the order of nature, you will be imprisoned for a span of 10 years. But what caught my attention here is, if you're arrested for rape, you get an imprisonment for 7 years. But if you indulge in homosexuality, you would be imprisoned for 10 years. Yes, extra 3 years for going against Indian culture. So Section 377 belongs to the IPC, or the Indian Penal Code that we follow today, or the terms from it which we use to make jokes like A420 and all. But then what we need to know here, that this same Indian Penal Code, or the IPC, was formed in the year 1853 by the British, particularly by a British lawyer by name Thomas Babington Macaulay, and we continue to follow it even today without any issues with 160-year-old laws. Why? Because we are lazy? No. Because we're used to it? No. It's simply because we don't want to do it. Like we're just going with the flow. अभी तुम बताओ, ये नए चीज कौन डाल के नए चीज याद करेगा? अब ये 420 में मजा आता है कि नहीं? We need to know here that these laws were implemented by a country like England, in a country like India, a heterogeneous country like India, with minute alterations, just like aate mein namak kind of alterations. And then we continue to follow it. Ironically, the country that framed these laws went back to its hometown and changed them accordingly. And today, for them, homosexuality is not a crime. Let me give you an example. The former Prime Minister of Ireland, Leo Varadkar, who happens to be Indian, has openly come out as gay. So he is both Indian and gay, but he is the Prime Minister of Ireland. Indian or gay? ऐसा कैसे हो सकता है?
Why are you gay?
For all we know, Section 377, or the part of it which spoke about homosexuality, has now been abolished. Now, why did this happen? Because Karan Johar released a film with a gay kissing scene in it, or because Hansal Mehta came out with Aligarh? No, none of this. It happened because people started to talk about it. People started to normalize this thing, or people started to talk in such a way that this became a new normal. So let me tell you how this story started and what happened precisely. Once upon a time, there was an NGO called NAS Foundation. So they went to the Delhi High Court, then they filed the plea. The Delhi High Court said, we cannot accept this plea as it has no locus standi. ये locus standi क्या होता है? Anyway, so after that they went to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court said, this cannot be accepted here. Go back to Delhi High Court, file a PIL. It can be taken as a form of PIL. So they went back to the Delhi High Court. They filed the PIL. The Delhi High Court accepted it. They waited for a very, very long time, from 2003 to 2009, and Delhi High Court said, you go bro, and they decriminalized homosexuality. It was all good till now. Enter Supreme Court in the year 2013. Supreme Court came and they recriminalized what was decriminalized. So at this point it became a huge debate. A lot of people started to talk about it in the country. A lot of opinions came out. A lot of people, kept it to themselves. So many things were happening. But what was more important is that it became like a protest, and a lot of people took active participation in these kind of protests. Let me mention 3 names in particular that so you can say led the movement. Like Navtej Singh Johar, Ritu Dalmia and Amarnath. These were the three people who were leading this so-called movement. But then opinions came from political leaders, opinion came from self-proclaimed godmen. Journalists started to talk about it. I'll tell you about who told what later, but then cut to 2016, where they went to the Supreme Court. They filed the plea all over again. The same people, Ritu Dalmia and Navtej Singh Johar, they filed the case all over again in Supreme Court. And 2 years later, in 2018, there came a landmark judgment in the name of Navtej Singh Johar versus the Union of India. It was then homosexuality was decriminalized in India. But we also need to know, before this came the right to privacy judgment in the backdrop of the Aadhaar and everything, which said right to marriage, right to whoever you want to marry is your choice, and then nobody can dictate these terms on you. And hence, in the year 2018, Section 377, the part of which spoke about homosexuality, was abolished.
Why are you gay?
So I'll tell you a story, a little interesting story. So this, as you know, it was a legal battle, and since it started, two lawyers were at the forefront. One is Menaka Guruswamy and the other is Arundhati Katju. Now these two lawyers, after the landmark judgment was delivered, came out saying that they were a couple. And people went, oh my god, aisa kaisa kar sakta and all. But then they told that this was not a professional victory for them but a personal one, because they wouldn't like going and fighting in the court when they themselves were called as criminals. Well, hats off to these two women.
Why are you gay?
So legally तो जीत गए, लेकिन socially काफी दूर जाना है, अभी काफी दूर जाना है, because
पहली बात ये अप्राकृतिक है, क्योंकि कोई भी माँ ये नहीं चाहती कि उसका बेटा किसी लफंगे को बहू बना करके घर में लेकर के आए। कोई भी माँ ये नहीं चाहती कि उसकी बेटी पति के रूप में किसी लड़की को घर में ले आए। जो भी होमोसेक्सुअल लोग हैं, मैं उनको विनम्रता पूर्वक, प्रेम पूर्वक, सम्मान और गौरव पूर्वक, क्योंकि वो एक अविवेकपूर्ण आचरण का शिकार हो गए हैं, गलत लत उनको लग गई है, और जो इससे मुक्त होना चाहते हैं, मैंने उनको कहा, पतंजलि योगपीठ में हम उनको आमंत्रित करते हैं। जो भी होमोसेक्सुअल लोग हैं, जो भी होमोसेक्सुअल लोग हैं, जो भी होमोसेक्सुअल लोग हैं।
So this man, who can't even pronounce homosexuality, can cure homosexuality for us. Wait, he also claimed cure for coronavirus. Did he? Did he not? Did he? Did he not? Did he? Did he not? So I heard a lot of nonsense on the internet, and I was taken aback about how people think this is a mode of sorts. चलो आज गे बनते हैं, आज तो बड़ा मजा आएगा, गे बनते हैं। बेटा तुम बड़े हो के क्या बनोगे? लेस्बियन। चल ब्रो, आज पैनसेक्सुअल बनते हैं, लेकिन ब्रो मुझे उसका मतलब ही नहीं पता ब्रो। Exactly. People need to know that this is not a mood, this is not a disease, and this is not a ideology, but a sexual orientation that you all have to respect and understand. Now let me share a video of my favorite journalist telling you the right things.
Intolerant heterosexuals, hear me. How is homosexuality unnatural? Who decides what is natural about the way in which each Indian combs his hair, the way each Indian brushes his or her teeth, what toothpaste they use, or whether an Indian sweats more from her palms or his forehead? What is right? What is natural? Point number two, who says the majority is right? If the majority says kill one another to avenge wars fought 1,000 years back, as many majorities do, will that be right?
Yes, all that LGBTQA plus community needs is acceptance, love, care, compassion and understanding. Because they are not just our own, but simply because we are all human race, right? And Vasudeva Kutumbakam, the world is a family after all. Well, काफ़ी ज्ञान हो गया. अब आपको क्या करना है? आपके पास, if you see, there is a like button. So you have to press that first. And then if you have not pressed subscribe, to press that also. And then after the video ends, there's a share button. You have to click on it and share the video with as many people as you want. Okay, share it because we need to sensitize people about it, because people also need to understand that these things exist around us, and Until next time, Jai Hind. Should we do that t-shirt joke again? Huh? Sure.